I regret moving to America. I regret moving to America. Once again, the American society, it is one of the most toughest society to migrate into because it can be mentally draining. You're gonna get depressed, yes. You are going to get depressed, yes. I actually don't even regret moving to America. I don't regret moving to America. But if you are thinking about moving here are some of the difficulties that you might face yourself. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. I don't regret moving to America, but I'll say that there is a lot of difficulties. One of the first things that I believe that a lot of people do go through when they move to America is the sense of themselves. People go from being very confident to losing their self-confidence. Like for example, you go from being like this very confident person in your home country, this very outspoken person in your home country, and then when you move to America, because of how different everything is, culture, society, just everything, because of how different it is, you can easily lose yourself. You can go from being like very outspoken, very confident, to now being like very shy and to yourself. I do remember that when I first moved here, I had a whole personality. I was talking to people. I was very confident. Even when I first moved here to America, I was very young. I was like 13 years old. I still had some of the behaviors I had back home. But eventually, as time went by, I became shy and just to myself. Even though I love the way I am now, and when I was back to my in my home country, I was very like out there, just like I had a whole personality. Now it takes me a very, very, very long time to take that personality out of me. Sometimes I meet some Africans and I feel very sad because I personally feel like there's so much more than what they're showing me. And because they're unable to speak the language properly, they go into the shelf. I truly believe that if you have not spoken the language, like the English language, very often, and it's not your first language or second language, when you come to a country like America, it's so easy for you to feel shy because not only are you thinking about learning the language, you're thinking about your accent, you're thinking about if people can hear you properly, you're thinking about so many things that just makes you go into your shelf. Honestly, if you're thinking of coming to America, the first thing I would say is learn the English language. Watch some movies, start like practicing it, read some books, or else I promise you, coming to a country like America, America has such an intense culture and intense everything to a point where like if you do not have the English language as a base, it's gonna be very, very, very hard for you to integrate into the culture. And like it's funny because like even Americans go through depression. Americans go through like difficulty getting along with one another. Americans who are born and raised here have such difficulties just like integrating with people, mingling with people. They have so much difficulty. And many Americans even consider themselves like shy and introvert. Imagine you were born and raised in this country and you already have difficulties. And now think about an African or whoever else who has no understanding of the American culture. They come from a different culture, they migrate here and they have to like relearn themselves from A to Z. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I'm telling you right now, just know that before coming to America, just know that you are going to have some difficulties and depression. You're gonna get depressed, yes. You are going to get depressed, yes. It's funny how like many Africans don't know what depression is. Many of us don't know what it is to be depressed. Like we don't know what that word is. We don't understand that word because our culture, the African culture, is very much an extroverted culture, right? You're always surrounded by people. You always have people around you. You always have humans around you. But when you come to America, when you come to the United States of America, when you come to America, I'm telling you something. You are gonna get depressed. I remember vividly when I came to America, I remember that since I was so used to always having people around me. We all know in many African cultures, in your home, there's your aunties, your cousins, your nephew, the neighbors, your parents. Everybody is in the household. There's like people screaming at each other. Your mom is yelling, your father is yelling, your cousins are playing. There's almost always noise. You're never alone. You're never alone when you're back home. But when you come into a culture like America, everyone to themselves. Everybody to themselves, I'm telling you, to each their own. When I first came here at the age of 13, I swear that I was crying every single day. Why? Because I had such difficulties meeting people. Because it's either you go to work and you go to school and befriended people, or you go to work, make friends at work, or you're home doing nothing. And it's funny because like I have a lot of African friends, and it's so funny to and it's so crazy when we all talk and we get into our deep talk, we all came to realize that we all went through depression. We all went through depression because like there were some times in our life where you felt so lonely. You felt like you have nobody. And also in America, to make friends, making friends is one of the most difficult things ever. Because you can make friends and you can think that things are going well, and then next thing you know, you guys are not talking to each other. You either have to like call them consistently, you have to like plan dates and days to hang out. You have to plan every single thing. And planning things can literally take weeks or months before you even see some of your friends, right? You have to go above and beyond. Being lonely, that's one thing you have to learn how to do in America, or else you're gonna be depressed. Being comfortable with being by yourself is something I had to learn, and it's something a lot of my friends had to learn. Some of my friends still, like me for example, I love being around people. I love it. I love being around people, but also I pick and choose who I want to be around. I pick and choose who I want to be around. Because of that, I personally learned how to be alone. I learned how to be alone, or else I would always be depressed. Sometimes I find myself by myself in my home, and I feel like, dang, I wish I had like my cousins around here, or my mom, or my auntie around me, or my friends around me right now. Because sometimes you feel so lonely and by yourself, and it just feels like you need that companionship. But in America, it's so hard to have because people are always working, people are always busy. Once again, meeting friends can be a hassle. You have to be willing to be that person that goes and asks people, hey, you want to hang out today? Hey, you want to cook today? Hey, you want to go do this today? Hey, you have to be that. I am sometimes that person. that grab my phone to go do things together, literally, because I know that it can be very, very, very hard for people to come out of their shelf. So you will be depressed. You will be depressed. Trust me. You are learning a new language. If English is not your first language or your second or third, you're going to have to learn a new language. You're gonna learn it. You're gonna speak it. You're gonna try to have a new accent. You're going to wanting to change your accent according to people you around. There's so many things you're going to change about yourself. It can be mentally draining. That's the beauty of it, right? Obviously, you in a new culture, you're learning different things about the culture, and it's like that migrating to that culture can be so difficult. The American society is one of the toughest society on this earth. Like once again, the American society, it is one of the most toughest society to migrate into, because I feel like you have to change so much of yourself, because America has such a high standard that you have to go above and beyond to reach this standard, right? If it's changing your accent, changing the way you look, changing so many things about yourself that you didn't even think you will have to change. When you come to America, that challenge is going to happen.